Hi, welcome to the continuation of the study of Revelation. We are in chapter 2. Today we are doing the persecuted church, and it's only like 4 verses 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 verses, but we are only going to do that today. That's in Revelation chapter 2, verse 8 to 11. It's packing a punch. That's why we cannot do more than that. And because my time is 10 minutes only per episode. I hope the clock behind me is not too loud. Also, my afro needs a prize at this point. I think it needs a trophy because Anywho, let's continue. The persecuted church. And to the angel in the church, and to the angel of the church in Smyrna, write these things, says the first and the last, who was dead and came to life. I know your works, tribulation and poverty. Let's stop at that first. I know your works. There was a period in my life when I don't know, I actually like to give this example. Who is the one person you trust, absolutely trust in your life? To me, there was a point in my life that was my mom. And I just, no matter what, if I am going through whatever I am going through, like if I call her and I know she knows, I know things are going to be all right. I don't know if that makes sense. As I grew up and I grew into my faith, recognizing my parents are human beings, and when you revere your parents in that manner, you're technically putting them above God. My relationship with the Lord grew, and now He is my go-to. He is my guy. Okay, He's my go-to. He's my source. He's my hope. He's my strength. He is my protection, and therefore, if I need anything, that's the one to go to. Yes. So there's a time. So now, when I say this, okay, the whole point of that was to say there was a point when as I was growing into my relationship, thankfully I had enough of a foundation to understand that He is a good God and He wants the best for me. And if He knows that I am going through something, He is going to solve it. I was completely convinced of it, to the extent that if I was going through the dumps of the dumps, I just wanted to know that God knows I am going through it. And when I know that He knows, I am done. I am done venting. I'm done being sad about it. I'm done being worried or thinking or overthinking it, because I know the one person who can actually solve it knows that I am going through it. Me, I'm sorted. That was life-giving for me, and it's amazing just seeing it written here. In verse 9, it says, now Jesus is telling the church in Smyrna, I know your works. I know the tribulation you're going through. Sorry, I know the tribulation you're going through. That just gives me so much hope. And then the next bit is, I also know your poverty. However, but you are rich. Now, the background, the church of Smyrna, is that they were in a part of Rome where emperor worship was being imposed on everyone. And so obviously emperor worship, you're worshiping basically the king. And therefore, the king, and Christians were being persecuted, and therefore you could not sell, you could not buy, and blah blah. So they were seriously in serious poverty, and therefore he's saying, and I know your poverty, but then in quotes it says, but you are rich. And this part, in the world, there are people in the world who will not get this, because they're like, see, you are poor. What do you mean you're rich? You can't eat. You don't have a place to sleep. You don't have clothes. But my friend, the riches that are beyond this world are crazy, and it's not fiction. It's not fiction. That's one of the things when you finish Revelation. We have finished, by the way. When you finish Revelation, the one thing that stuck, it kept ringing, is that heaven is real. Heaven is real, and Jesus is coming back soon. And therefore, when you think about, I don't know how to convince you of this, that what Jesus offers is better than what we have down here. In fact, yesterday we were coming back from the BCF, the last BCF, whatever, in Nairobi, and we were discussing, and someone was giving an example of someone who was in a coma and went to heaven, and when they are there, they don't want to come back. You do not want to come back down here. By the way, you don't, because this place is miserable compared to that place. It is absolutely miserable. When you compare it to that place, it's probably hell. And guess what? Hell will be even worse than this. Yes, it will be worse. And there's this country song that I've had several times. Everybody keeps saying how much they want to go to heaven, as if heaven is so good or something. and yet, and me, I think you're my heaven, or something. It's a secular song. And I'm like, we want to go to heaven because, honey, we haven't, this is nothing. This is poverty. This, no matter how rich you are, even if you are Bill, who is the richest person? Elon Musk or whatever, you are just, and you have all the fame in the world. All those people, we know them, they are rich and they have fame and they have money pouring down everywhere. They are poor. They are poor when it comes to God, when it comes to heavenly riches. Because, darling, that has nothing to do with money. It has something to do with joy. And yes, the money is there. There's gold streets. What do you imagine when you hear of gold streets? And anywho, I'm not here to convince you. But I hope it will take away something from it. I'm already 6 minutes in. Jeez. And I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not. Now, this part also is it's minor. Again, there was Jews and there was the Christians, the rising church, the Christian church, okay? And therefore, but then now the Jews are, even today, I feel like Jews still feel entitled to God more than the rest of us. They feel like the rightful they are the rightful children of God, and the rest of us are just like trying to impose ourselves on Him and stuff. And yet, because they rejected Him, they were rooted out, they were cut off, and we were grafted in. You should read that, is in Galatians, I think, chapter 5. We were grafted in. Read Galatians. Let me not lie to you where it is. Just read Galatians. I were grafted in, and therefore we are literally checking through the same source. He is our God as much as He was theirs. Even if the actual DNA, actually you cut someone and the blood, the DNA is literally traced back to Abraham. We are spiritual children of Abraham. We are our DNA is spiritual, and therefore we are spiritual children of Abraham. Jesus even said, you keep calling yourselves the children of Abraham, and God can raise children for Abraham from these stones or something. I think I don't want to add to this thing. Man, I just finished Revelation, and the warning is a very fierce warning. Do not add to this book, do not remove from it. So if I misquote, please go and read for yourself. Call me out. It's a disclaimer. I might be misquoting, but yes, it does say something like Jesus, God will raise children of Abraham from these stones or something. I'm 7 minutes in, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, and that meant even the Jews who rejected Jesus, they rejected him. And they're practicing their own stuff. They are the synagogue of Satan. That does not need to even be explained. I feel like it's pretty much self-explanatory. Do not fear any of those things which you are about to suffer. Jesus told us very well and plainly and clearly, if I have been persecuted, so will you, because a servant is not greater than his master. I have gone through suffering, so will you. But my dear, the devil, let me continue because the answer is here. The devil is about to throw some of you into prison, that you will be tested and you will have tribulation 10 days. The 10 days could be symbolic, could be actual 10 days, could be longer. I don't know. Be faithful until death. And I will come, I'll give you the crown of life. Remember, I think in previous episodes, we've been very, very clear that the imwili, do not be afraid of the one who can only kill the body. Be afraid of the one who can also kill the soul. The devil is the one who can kill the body, but God can also kill the soul. Be very afraid of the one who can also kill the soul, because his body, honey, is gonna die. Hii mwili nakufa. Lakini after it dies, that's why I was saying in another episode, you are immortal. I am immortal. We are not mortals. We are immortal beings. We are immortal. Yes, we are in a mortal body. Once this body dies, we are left, our soul continues on. There is an afterlife. For you who does not believe it, my friend, heaven is real. And so is hell. God is very real. And so is the devil. And only one of them wins. And it is God. And so if you do not, may that sink in. And may you choose life. And choosing life is choosing Jesus Christ. Okay, he who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. He who overcomes shall not be hurt by the second death. And the second death, this one is the first death. And those ones who believe in Jesus Christ do not face second death. The ones who reject Jesus Christ face the second death. And it has no ending. It is eternal, what is it? Eternal pain, which I can't even describe. That is why I keep saying this part. That is why God tarries. That's why he takes his time to come back, because he knows the amount of pain that is waiting for people who reject him. He knows, and he does not want any one of us to go through it. That is the kind of God that we have. Have a wonderful day.